Hello everybody, welcome back to Backstage Bimbo TV. Most of you know who I am, but for those of you who don't, my name is Allison Rouse, your most notorious groupie, and author of We've Got Tonight, The Life and Times of Notorious Groupie, me. So how's everybody doing today? Hopefully rocking out, concerts are back, we're all excited, yay! And today we're going to talk about a really hot boy from the 80s, from one of the prettiest bands from the 80s. Cocktails and Rocktails, we're going to talk about James Lomenzo from White Lion. So I used to have a picture of James and I had it in a frame, and I lost a bunch of stuff when my storage unit was broken into. And it was a picture of James and I, but here's me. This is me blonde. Oh God, I hate these pictures of myself. That's Vito, everybody. They were opening up for AC/DC. Let's see if we can get without the, can you see the AC/DC show there? This is not the one where the kids died. This is years before that. So yeah, we're going to talk about James Lomenzo, and in honor of that, today's cocktail is the Pink Lion. Couldn't really find a White Lion one, so we're doing the Pink Lion because, well, there was kind of a joke between me and Mike. We were joking around that he was wearing these hot pink shorts, as you can see in this picture. And we were joking about him staying at the Pink Lion and not the Red Lion. But they weren't even staying at the Red Lion because White Lion was staying at the Holiday Inn. And I've talked about the Fun Center at the Holiday Inn and how it was structured. So I recently found some photos of an old Holiday Inn Fun Dome that I will post somewhere in the video, probably at the end, so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. Alright, hold on. Alright guys, so everybody grab your Pink Lions, kick your feet up, let's have some cocktails and rocktails, shall we? Alright, ooh, and if everybody sees, I've been showing everybody extra boobies because this is my merchandise. This is one of my t-shirts. You can't see very well with the bright light on, but it says, got a bump? No, too bad, I do, because Lars was totally coked out in this picture, and that was something he said back then. So go to the link below where my merch is, and you'll see a lot of really funny t-shirts like this. I do have Backstage Bimbo TV merch, but I do have the t-shirts like this. I have one with Steve Jones of the Sex Pistols, this one with Lemmy. I have a few more I haven't released yet, but they're coming. Alright, so when was this? This was July 26, 1988. God, like I said, 88 was a very, very busy year, especially May. I always joke around that I'm surprised I could walk by June. Lordy. So, I was trying to get a hold of Kristen, couldn't get a hold of Kristen. Danny was off living with her boyfriend somewhere. And there's another girl that I knew that wasn't a groupie. She just was a cool chick. Not at all into the scene. And couldn't get a hold of anybody, so I went up by myself because I'm like, I know White Lion's in town. It's the night before the show. Ooh, they're such a pretty band. Didn't know which one I wanted. I had actually met them before when they were opening up for Aerosmith. And had kind of talked to Vito Bratta, who was their guitar player. Good looking guy and stuff. I thought, well, maybe I'll hook up with him. Don't know. I mean, we've been flirting, Vito and I had, when they were opening up for Aerosmith. We were talking, hanging out, but then Joe Perry happened. Vito Bratta, Joe Perry. Do the math. Joe Perry. All down to the sixes. Anyway, so I was like, maybe I'll hook up with Vito this time. You know, kind of had him in mind. But like I said, a whole band of good-looking guys except that asshole drummer, Greg. He was an asshole back then. He's nicer now. We're friends on Facebook. But he friended me. But so anyway, I walk into the way the Holiday Inn was set up, and there's a reason I'm explaining this. The lobby was stuck out from the rest of the hotel, and then on the outside there was more hotel rooms from the inside. The fun dome, like I said, was surrounding a pool, a mini putt-putt, a tiki bar, all kinds of things, saunas. And so, you know, people could have fun in this hotel back in the day when hotels were destinations. And this one still existed in the 80s. So they're hanging out there. And in Utah, this is, like I said, July 26th. In Utah, July 24th is also a holiday, like July 4th for fireworks. It was the day Utah became a state. So the Mormons will not celebrate during the week, so they do it during the weekend. And this was the weekend. So it must have been they were in town 2 days before, because it says they were playing Tuesday, July 26th. So July 24th would have been a Monday, or a Sunday, excuse me. So they must have been in town a couple of days, if I remember correctly. Because, yes, they were, because we barbecued the next day. Anyway, so I walk in through the lobby, go to my right, which is where the fun center was. Now, right as you walk in, there were stairs that went up to the second floor, and then some rooms this way that didn't surround the fun center, and then ones that did on this side. And the ones on this side that didn't have the fun center, there are these huge windows. Like, you could just slide them open. There was no screens to these windows or anything. They were just in the hallway, and you could actually walk out to the roof of where the lobby area was of the hotel. So I walk in, and I'm like, I see the bus. You know, I go downtown, see the bus, walk into the Holiday Inn, look to my right. There's this little long-haired blonde guy. Not little, but James Lomenzo is not tall. So I see him grabbing a couple of chairs from by the pool and then running up the stairs, going down that little hallway, then all of a sudden coming back. He grabs a table and he turns and he looks and he sees me. Of course, I'm in groupie gear, as usual. And so James stops and he's got the table in his hands and he's like, oh, well, hi. Sets it down, gets his, you know, guy on, his man self going, comes over, he's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, good, how you doing? He's like, I'm James. He's like, you look really familiar. I'm like, oh, I was around, you know, met you guys last time when you were here with Aerosmith. We chatted it up. He's like, oh, he's like, well, hey, he's like, I've got a, you know, little barbecue grill and a couple chairs I was just going to grab. I hear there's fireworks tonight. And what he was doing with these chairs and this table and stuff, he already had a cooler and this little hibachi kind of barbecue, those little small ones, on the rooftop of the lobby area outside these windows because he heard there were fireworks going. So he was setting himself up a little party. And, you know, the other guy's in White Lion, he's like, I just figured out you could crawl out onto the roof. And I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, you should join me. I'm like, okay, cool. So James and I go out there. He sets up chairs. He's got little tables set up. He's getting drinks. He's got the cooler out there. He's just got a little couple things to barbecue, a little hot dog stuff going on. I'm like, cool. So we're sitting there. We're talking, just hanging out. Another rock night. I wasn't able to get a hold of Kristen. And this is, folks, we didn't have cell phones back then. So it wasn't just, you know, I could keep trying to call her from the hotel and be like, hey, where are you, bitch? Get up here. No, wasn't like that at all. So we're sitting up there. We're having a good time. It's starting to get dark. We had a couple of hot dogs, a couple of beers. James and I are getting real flirty because he is hot. He is absolutely friggin' hot. And he's a good-looking guy. He's got a nice body. He's not much taller than me. I'm 5'6", so he's probably about 5'7"-ish. So not real tall, but his height is not what matters in size, ladies. Nope. So, and then Greg comes out, you know, Mike, the lead singer, he comes out, Mike Tramp, their drummer Greg, everybody comes out, we're all sitting there talking, and Greg's always been the horniest one, and he hooked up with Kristen's aunt one time when they were in town. Her name is Michelle, and Michelle's really not that much older than Kristen, only a few years. Kristen was an early in life baby, or Kristen's mom was an early in life baby. Michelle was a later in life baby. So there's only a few years between Kristen and her aunt. And Michelle had hooked up with Greg, and he's like, hey, and Greg remembered, so he's trying to poke and prod me. Oh, you should go get your friend, call your friend Michelle. I'm like, I tried calling her aunt Kristen, and I can't get a hold of anybody. And all of a sudden he's like, wait, who's that? Because there was these other, big windows that looked on the other side. Like, the pool was here, we were on this side, and come out to the roof from this side, and there were still windows that looked on the other side of the hotel, the other hallways. And Greg just turns and looks in the window and goes, well, who's that? And they were, what are they, tinted windows, so you couldn't see out of them, but we could see in. So I turn and I look in the window, I'm like, oh, what do you know? It's Kristen. Yeah. So she found us. We're all banging on the window. Hey, Kristen! 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 She couldn't see us, so she's coming up to the window. She's all, what's going on there? What's going on? And I'm like, go get her, Greg. Go get her. So Greg goes and gets her and comes out, and so she joins the party. And, we grab a couple more chairs. By this time, James has scooted a chair close to me. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Vita, who? Nope. He's digging that James Lomenzo. What can I say? There are men called womanizers. What's a woman called? A whore. Really. I'm a manizer. Not a whore. I just went after whatever man I wanted and got it. So, hate me if you want, but that's what I did. It's nothing against anybody. I just love men and love the company of men because I get along with men way better than women. And if I see a good one and we're hitting it off and there's good chemistry and energy, yeah, of course I am. So, we scooted things over and we're talking and hanging out, and Kristen came up, we were drinking some more, we watched the fireworks. It was an awesome time. And we finally get a hold of Michelle. She comes up. Greg goes and has her, whatever. He's trying to get down my pants, and I'm like, no. While I'm calling Michelle from his room. He's trying to push me on I'm like, he's pushing me on the bed, so I just sort of kept pushing my leg. Nope. I'm not having this, dude. But he's a cool guy. He was kind of, like I said, horny and attitudey back then, but he's really actually not a total asshole. So we call Michelle. She comes up. I run into Vito. He's like, hey. I'm like, oh. James comes out from the rooftop because he sees Vito and I talking in the hallway after calling Michelle and all that. And James comes out. He's all, hey. And he comes and puts his arm around me. Because, rock stars are just as competitive sexually as groupies are. So James comes up and shows that, hey, this is kind of my thing now. You didn't have her before, you snooze, you lose. And yeah, pretty much, because I just really liked James and he was so pretty. And okay, let's find out. And like I said, Jody's around. Jody shows up because we call her. We're like, hey, just come hang out, She shows up, and for some reason we end up leaving for a while. I think we went to go grab beer. We went by their and it was later, dark at night. It was almost 2 o'clock, and in Utah you cannot buy beer after 2 a.m. It's like that in a lot of states. So we went to go grab beer and ended up going by her apartments because she wanted to grab something. While she was upstairs, James and I decided we were going to jump the fence to the pool there. And we just ripped off our clothes and started skinny dipping in this pool at this apartment complex. And swimming around, and that's actually where he first kissed me, was in the pool. He did the typical, swam up against me where the ladder is and put his arms in the ladder and pulled up and, yeah, daddy. Nice kiss, James. And then guess what else we did in that pool? Well, as long as we were up against the ladder, and then we sort of floated down to the shallow end on the stairs. And on the stairs. So, yeah, that was where we kind of started. And then Jody's looking for her. She's like, where the hell are you guys? And she's real innocent, like, completely not into... She loves rock and roll, but she's so, like, a total innocent girl, still a virgin at this point. So she finds us in the pool, and she's like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, shit. Well, what are you going to do? You got James Lomenzo naked in a pool. Come here, baby. Hell yeah, hell yeah. And James Lomenzo has also been in Megadeth, so I guess that makes technically 3 members of Megadeth I've slept with out of 4. He's been in Black Label Society, so yeah. But yeah, so we had fun in the pool. We skinny dipped for a while. We went back to the hotel and then ended up staying the night with James, doing the same thing. Going back to the show the next day, and these were all taken right before they pulled out of town. There's their old, look at that old Eagle Tour bus, guys. Anybody who's in rock and roll? Oh, I miss these. The upside down tour bus trick was performed many, many times. And Kristen and I's panties hung from a lot of these tour bus windows. That's why I quit wearing underwear. They left without me half the time. And my mom hated the G-strings, so she threw those away. Well, commando it was. Anyway, yeah, so that was how I met James Lomenzo. We did hang out again. We saw each other a few more times, had a blast. Really just a sweet guy. Really awesome. Come to Patreon to find that part out, you guys. You know by now. You want the dirty details of what he was like in bed, what his cock was like? Join me on Patreon where it's a little bit more private. Okay? Yeah, so fireworks happened in and out of the pool that night. Because, oh yeah. You know Mommy wouldn't be vlogging about it if her little toy, her little lover wasn't any good. Oh yes, I would. We'll get to those ones. Those will be fun. So there you go. That's the night I met James Lomenzo. Like I said, we hung out the whole night before. Saw AC/DC. Was hanging out the night before. And if you look, like if you pause and zoom, you see Greg in the background there just flipping off. Because he was pissed off because I wouldn't sleep with him. Because I was going to sleep with James. Come on, I have standards. I didn't want everybody from White Lion like I did Tesla and Def Leppard. Well, I didn't want everybody from Def Leppard. Or Tesla. That date, who's dated whose side is totally wrong. I didn't sleep with all the guys in Tesla. Just Frank and... yeah. Anyway. James Lomenzo was hot, ladies. Another hot rocker from the 80s. Absolutely adore him. Total blast. Kapow, kapow. Fireworks. Down below. Alright, folks. So, this one wasn't the most exciting one. It was just a fun little story of a sweet guy watching fireworks at the Fun Dome and just having a good time. Because not every rock groupie story has to be significant or have some meaning or some emotion. Or that's too heavy. That's not what rock and roll is about. It's about living in the moment and appreciating and just going with the flow and seeing where it ends up. And sometimes it ends up when the band pulls out of town. Sometimes you go with them. Sometimes you see them a little later. Sometimes you see them for 8 years, 5 years, 6. And there you go. That was... I only saw James for a few weeks, probably. But like I said, total blast. Really amazing guy. Absolutely talented bass player. Adore him. So there you guys go. Don't forget to go check out all my cool merch t-shirts. Like I said, the link is down below. Backstage Bimbo Inc. at threadless.com. My book link is down below. So is my Patreon. Come and join me over there if you want the dirty details about James Lomenzo or any other rockers that I vlog. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to help me get to 1,000 so I can get monetized. This is my living. So, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the bells to get notified for my next cocktail and rocktail. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Cheers, big ears. See you on the flip side.